Lee Davenport. We're so lucky to have Lee with us today out of Atlanta, Georgia. Lee is a national and actually international trainer and speaker. She also writes for top industry publications like Realtor Magazine, Inman, Huffington Post, and many more. She has had real estate in her blood from birth. Her parents were both real estate investors, and she really learned the ropes through them, although she did confide in me that she's kind of a girly girl and did not like some of the manual labor that accompanied the investing, right, Lee?
That's right.
Also, Lee moved to Atlanta from Michigan, and she started investing there, and the market was very strong. And in fact, she got licensed in 2007, and we all know what happened very shortly after that with the market crash. And not only did people stop buying homes, but her tenants lost jobs, and it was a pretty tumultuous time for her, and some decisions needed to be made. And out of necessity, she decided to find a way to make it work. Well, back then, Facebook was fairly new. It's hard to even remember when Facebook was new. I can't remember life without it. And advertising was actually free. So she artfully and really with intention used Facebook to find business. She started having a ton of success, and she was really succeeding at a time when a lot of agents were not succeeding. And people took notice, and she began training and helping people with these techniques, and then that grew into, she actually was asked to be the managing broker of the office in 2011 and 12, and she's taken on a lot, and due to some personal situations, kind of had to step back and pick one thing that she really liked and that she wanted to focus on. And lucky for all of us, she really loved the training piece, so been focusing on that since about 2014, and that's what she's been doing. She has two kind of primary areas of focus. One is the marketing technology, and we're going to talk a lot about that, Facebook and prospecting through Facebook today. But she also is focusing, and I find this super fascinating, on sort of personality pairing for marketing. And if you guys are familiar with the DISC at all, you know that our high Ds and our high Cs and our high Is and our high S's are all very different people. And successful marketing can look very different for those kinds of people. So welcome, Lee.
Thank you, Monica. And I am amazed by both your memory and your ability to take notes. You are a rock star because you nailed that. That's
well, good. I'm happy. I was going to ask you if I left anything else that you thought was important.
No, you nailed it.
All right, good deal.
Thank you very
much. Of course. Talk a minute about, I think this could help all of our Espresso agents on the phone. Talk about how, what I just mentioned with the personality pairing, and then we'll get into why we're here today, but talk about why that matters and kind of how that pertains to them, because I think it's just an interesting mindset shift that might help them.
I agree, Monica. I think the golden days of sales and marketing, which if anybody was a fan of the TV show Mad Men, the 60s and so forth, back then and going into real estate in the 70s and 80s, it really seemed like it was a one-size-fit-all model where, you do your cold calling, you go door knocking, and that's how you have a career in real estate. But I really do believe that here we are in the new millennium. I think that technology, social media in particular, has really changed that, where we can be comfortable in our own skin. We can default to our natural personality and still have a thriving career in real estate sales, or really a lot of different types of sales, without some of the more traditional. Not that the traditional methods don't work, but I really do believe that based on our personalities, it's not comfortable for everyone. Everyone can't comfortably cold call. High D, sure, maybe even high C, but those that are like an S, they're steady, they want to be one-on-one with people, that's very foreign for them. So instead of trying to do things that don't fit you, let's take what works for your specific personality type, and let's run with that. And I found, like, and as you shared with me, even in your own office, you've seen that to be true. So, like I was sharing with you, I really want to now be able to quantify some of the results, get some data supporting that, hey, you can really sell with all personality types. You just got to know the marketing activities that fit best for you.
Absolutely. That's great. Okay, so we all know how much technology has changed the business of real estate. That is obviously no secret. In your opinion, what's on the horizon? What should the folks on the call be looking out for around the corner?
Ooh, it's so funny you would ask that. We actually just wrote a piece for Realtor magazine that will probably be out in the next week or two. And we were talking about, for 2017, what are the trends that agents really need to keep their eyes on and be a part of so that they're not left behind? One of the things that we really feel like is the up-and-coming thing for real estate is virtual reality technology. You know, Matterport, a lot of people are familiar with Matterport. They now have an option, just like the gaming industry, where you can put a headset on and walk through the property. So we already know on website, for those that are familiar with Matterport, but if you're not, if you've ever gone to Google Street Maps, it allows you for some neighborhoods to do like a street walking view. So now you can look at the pictures in the neighborhood and you can see cars parked on the street and people standing there. And Matterport has adapted that technology to real estate. And beyond that, now, not only can it be like you're on a computer, but now you can put the headset on and really feel like you're in a home. So if someone is across the nation, maybe if they're in LA and they're thinking about relocating to DC, they don't necessarily have to fly anymore, and they don't have to have a cheesy, old-school photo slide show. They can actually feel like they're in the home. So VR technology and the fact that it's becoming more affordable is really something that we're noticing a lot of companies are taking more and more advantage of. And again, we talk about it more in detail in the article coming up. I wish I knew the date so you guys could check it out. But
that's awesome. I love it. And for relocation, if you're doing any relo business, this could be really good news. You could avoid those, 25 houses a day for a weekend straight, those events for sure with VR. That's awesome. Somebody asked a question real quick. I just saw the website she's talking about, or the company she's talking about, is Matterport. It's Matterport, I think, right, Lee?
Correct. Yeah.
Matterport, yeah. Okay, so set the stage for us here today. What do we have to look forward to? What do we need to be taken away from you today? And then you can just take it away.
All right. Well, so one of my favorite things, like Monica shared, I got started on Facebook even before Facebook was popular for real estate marketing. It's definitely popular now for it. But one of the things that I found when I talk to people, just even, across the nation, various agents still come to me and say, yeah, I've tried Facebook ads, but I've not gotten any business. My goal, I want you to leave this call and understand how to actually generate a lead from your Facebook ad. For me, it's not really about just saying, ooh, I have this many likes and clicks. Who cares? Let's make some money from it. So that's going to be what we're going to work on today. So hopefully at the end of this, you all will understand maybe some of the things you might have been doing that weren't actually lead generators. So
awesome.
With that,
perfect.
Let's get started. Now, I have a question up here, and I know you guys have access to the chat. So, Monica, if you can help me out, but if you could share, how do you currently use Facebook? And, Monica, if you see, like, maybe a reoccurring answer, then, we'll just say one answer or two answers.
Sure. And specifically, what do you mean? I'm just using it for personal fun. I do have a page, a professional business page. What kind of answers are you looking for there?
I really want everybody to just be honest and tell me, because to your point, some people will say, hey, I've never used it for business. It is only to stay in touch with my family. Or you might have some of the super Facebookers that are like, no, I've used it for business, for ads. So just share with me. I just want to kind of gauge the audience so that I don't spend too much time on things that might be pretty elementary.
Sure. Okay. All right, guys, use the chat button or the chat function. It's the tab on the left next to, well, I'm not sure how it's showing up on your screen, but it's to the left of the main slide there. And I'll keep an eye watching out for people. A lot of people are saying landing pages. They're using it.
Okay.
Let me see here. Hold on. Driving traffic to a landing page, targeted ads. They do have business page being used.
Okay.
Several business pages. Somebody's spending quite a bit of money on Facebook ads, actually.
Oh, interesting.
So we've got some active participants here, I think, that understand Facebook probably, and it's probably why they're here today, to sharpen their skills a little bit.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to keep going, and I want to set a foundation before I get into my actual Facebook business page, because I do want to show you what I'm referring to. But before I do, let me just set a foundation, because I want to make sure that we all think the same way about this and really start at ground zero. So why? Why should we be marketing or advertising on Facebook? This first picture I have is a throng of people. And the reason why I put that there is because there's over 1 billion people active on Facebook each day. That is so powerful for us as marketers, because when you think about needing to reach people, a lot of times we'll do what this picture over here in the bottom left-hand corner, and that is maybe we'll have a billboard up, we'll put ads in a newspaper, we'll do a lot of the traditional things that are much more expensive. Here in Atlanta, to have a billboard starts at $5,000 a month, and it can go up to $20,000, $25,000, especially if it's a digital board. So it can be very expensive. But the great thing for me that I love about Facebook ads is that for as little as $1 to potentially $5 a day, depending on the type of ad, you can actually generate bona fide leads. And what I've found with a lot of the agents that I work with, we're able to keep our cost per lead. You know, if you average it out over maybe, each month that we're spending $100 or $200, we're basically getting a lead every $5 to $10. That is very foreign in many of the other systems that you can use to lead generate. The other reason why I love Facebook, this last picture, is that once you really do start to understand some of the things we're going to talk about today, you can set it and forget it. And, I feel like that tells my age a little bit. I'm one of the oldest millennials, and, so I'm right on that line of millennial and Gen X. So those younger than me probably never saw that commercial. But I remember a commercial, I think late 90s, where it was like, you can set it and forget it. And that's how I feel with Facebook right now. The problem that might come up is that Facebook will go up on the prices one a day. I really do think, we're in the probably the glory days of low cost for Facebook advertising. So I really want to encourage you, after we get off this call, try to run an ad based off of the methods I show today. If not today, then at least by the weekend, so you don't forget, because it's so inexpensive right now. So with that being said, I alluded to this already, but right here I have a picture of a baseball card. Hopefully you all can still see this. For some of you growing up, you might have collected baseball cards, Barbie dolls, Cabbage Patches, or Pokemon cards, whatever. And the point of this is, whenever we were collecting something as a child, a lot of times we'd like to put it on a pedestal to all of our friends and say, ooh, look how great this is. Look at what I have. Well, unfortunately, a lot of people do that with Facebook and really all social media. They say, oh, look at how many followers I have and look at how many likes I got. We don't care about that. As real estate practitioners, I want you to get away from this becoming a popularity contest. And like I said earlier, my goal for you is to walk away with leads. If it's not a lead, we don't really care as much. And I'm not saying, now, again, with social media, Facebook, you can use this just for connecting with your friends and family. So I'm talking about outside of connecting with your friends. This is from the business standpoint. So if you're on here for a business purpose, I want you to focus on leads. The next thing is this quote. I love this. It says, increasingly, mass marketing is turning into a mass of niches or niches, however you like to say that. And the point of that is, instead of now having, like I mentioned earlier, a billboard on the side of the road that will be for everybody that passes by who may not actually be in the market to buy or sell, now we can target. We can find people that want what we are in the process of selling. And this has really been a game changer with social media in particular. I have 3 questions here that I really consider is marketing 101. So if in your business you have not yet answered these 3 questions, I dare say you are probably not as efficient in your marketing, and you're probably even wasting marketing money. So I want you to be able to answer these 3 questions in your business, but especially before you do a Facebook ad, because, again, for those of you that feel like the ads aren't as effective as they could be, it might start with these questions not being answered. So the 3 questions that I always like for you to know: 1, who is your target client? I've already mentioned the generational thing, so you may want to focus on millennials. You may want to focus on baby boomers. You may want to focus on people that are divorcees. There's so many different options. And with Facebook, it is overwhelming, and I'm going to show you how much data they're tracking on all of us. So if you don't go in there with a clear mind of who your ad is supposed to reach, it really can be overwhelming. And, again, you won't be effective. I call that the spaghetti method of marketing, where you take, how in spaghetti, well, old school spaghetti, to see if it was ready, you take the spaghetti and throw it against a wall and see what sticks. Well, unfortunately, some of us do that in marketing. We just take some of the marketing ingredients, throw it against the wall, and see who it sticks to. And I don't want you to do that anymore. Second question is very similar. What's your target community or subdivision? Here in Metro Atlanta, you cannot just focus on Atlanta, because there's so many different things, from condos to subdivisions to multi-million-dollar homes to starter homes. There's so many options, and a message that is crafted for a first-time home buyer will not be appealing to a move-up buyer or to a downsizer. So we have to know what neighborhoods we're focusing on. And then the final thing is, what is your unique message? If you just think about all of the agents on this call alone, you have to be able to stand out. And if you don't know what makes you unique from the next agent, your advertising and marketing will not be as effective. I do want to mention, I put in parentheses in that first question, fair housing. I want you to know that when I say targeting, we are not being discriminatory. And again, I think everybody's pretty clear on what fair housing is, but I always like to mention that. So although I may be targeting baby boomers who, they're empty nesters, they're ready to downsize, my ad will not say something like, hey, if you're a mother with 3 kids, don't bother calling me. It wouldn't say anything like that. I doubt any of you would put that, but I have to say it just to make sure we're all on the same page. Now, here's an example of one of my agents, her results from a Facebook ad. This particular ad, and it's purposefully blurry from the standpoint of, she didn't want people to know exactly what she's doing, but I still wanted you to be able to see just overall. She spent $3 and got 1 bona fide buyer lead, and she was looking for buyers. So, again, the power and the cost effectiveness of Facebook is so amazing to me, and that's why I push it so much. And I'm not getting paid by Facebook, but I feel that because the information is so cheap, we should all be using it. And then here is a quick screenshot of what it looks like, so that once you start collecting leads on Facebook, it is available as a CSV file, which simply means you can convert it into either an Excel spreadsheet or Google Sheets, but basically a spreadsheet. So unfortunately, I will say with Facebook, right now, they do not give us notifications when you have a new lead. Now, we get notifications for everything, when somebody goes live, when somebody has lunch, all the things you probably don't even care about. So you would think the thing we care the most about, a lead, they would give us a notification for that, but they do not. So I want to just encourage you in advance to make sure if you're running an ad, go check it so that you can see what leads you've gotten. Last quote before I go over to my Facebook page, and that is, person who stops marketing to save money is like he who stops his clock to save time. Now, as much as we all wish we could take the dial of a clock and turn it back, and that actually would give us extra hours in the day, that won't work. And unfortunately, we as real estate practitioners a lot of times think, okay, things are tight, so let me cut back on marketing. I want you to never feel that way about Facebook marketing. I think if you have to cut something out, saving just $30 a month, which is $1 a day, to at least be able to run some ads would be tremendous to help you get to a place where it's not a tough time. So please don't stop marketing. This should be something that you budget for. This, after the call, feel free to go to this free infographic that I'm giving you access to. The link is here at the top, and it's just bit.ly/8 ad ideas. And what that is, I'm not going to be able to talk about in our time together, the graphics, what you need to, how to make it look and ideals. But you can go to this infographic. It's free. No strings attached to it, but you can take a look at it and get some ideals for how your graphics should look. So with that, let's head on into Facebook and talk about some of my favorite strategies to really make this a lead generator for you and not just a popularity contest. So hopefully you all are able to see my Facebook page, which says you can profit with your personality, like we already talked about. That's my favorite thing. Below that, as you all should have, and I will say, so this is my Facebook business page. If you do not yet have a business page, I want you to know you cannot run ads, unfortunately. So you will have to create a business page if you have not. Once you create one, I know a lot of people, the big question is, should I have a business page and a personal page? Yes. Your personal page is to stay connected with everyone in your sphere of influence, which you should do, and you can post for free on your personal page. So all of the things we're going to talk about on your business page as far as advertising, this is to reach people who do not know you. That's the point of paying. You are paying to reach a brand new audience. I don't want you to pay to get in front of people who already know you. I think that should be free. So the answer again is yes, have a personal and business page. Now with Facebook, I say there are 3 levels of Facebook marketing. So the first level, and this is what most of us default to, is to click here, Boost Post. So you just create a post and then you click Boost Post. I'm sure some of you have done this, and I want to tell you, and I'm going to click on it and show you why. I want to say don't ever do that. That should never be done by us in the real estate industry. Now, there's reasons for other industries to do it because, again, maybe they are just trying to grow awareness that their business exists. But like I said, for us, we really need to focus on a lead. I want to walk away with a new buyer, a new seller, or a renter if you're on the landlord side of this. So notice here, when I click Boost Post, it gives us some options. So we can select our budget, we can select the duration, and I skipped something. I didn't write anything. Let me clear this. So let me just type something in. So it will actually, should give me audience. That's what I'm waiting for. Trying to load, but while it's trying to load, and actually it doesn't matter because it's not going to give us the ability to target, like I'm going to show you on level 2 of Facebook marketing, and that's where I want you to go, and that's the ads manager. For whatever reason, it's not pulling up, which is okay. Again, I'll just say this. The Boost Post part of the audience will only allow you to select people's interest. That is not enough. Like I mentioned earlier, we should know the demographics, so what generation they're in, what stage of life. Again, maybe they just had children, or maybe they, again, are empty nesters. We can pick all of that in level 2. We cannot pick that here in level 1. So I'm going to close this out, and let's head over to level 2. So in the blue menu bar here at the top, there is a downward pointing triangle. That's the drop-down menu, so I'm going to click on that. Now, what you should see when you go to this drop-down menu, any pages, business pages that you have will show up. So you can always get to your business pages here. Below that, you can create a page. So for those of you that don't yet have a business page, you can come here and create one. But where we're going to go is to create ads. So if you scroll down, you can create an ad. I also want you to notice before I click it, it says Manage Ads for me below Create Ads. If you don't see Manage Ads, all that means is you have not yet created your first ad. So that's okay. When you create your first ad, you will then have the ability to manage it. And managing it means stopping it, letting it run again, and so forth. But I clicked on Create Ad. And let's get started on making this ad. And I'll keep this short and sweet, but I want to show you some things that perhaps if you haven't had results using Facebook ads, this may be why. So here, notice there are several objectives. They actually have Boost Post here as an objective. If you ever do decide, hey, I wrote something, or I have a funny picture or something, or maybe it's a client testimonial that you want people that don't know you to learn about, you can Boost Post, but I would do it from the Ads Manager here in level 2. Don't do it in level 1 because, again, you cannot target. That's the main reason. Notice also, I heard Monica say some of you are pointing to landing pages. So you can send people to other websites. You can promote your page, get video views, raise attendance at your event. This is great if you're doing an open house. I have a couple of clients who only use Facebook marketing to generate people to their open house, and they constantly walk away not only with leads for that particular property, but new clients. And so, again, it becomes a lead generating tool. But my favorite one is this last one, collect leads for your business. Now, for those of you that have never seen this or never used this, this again may be the reason why you haven't actually generated a lead. This option has been a game changer. It's been available on Facebook now just a year. It started last October, and what this objective does is it will pull the contact information from Facebook. So I know many of you have landing pages, and with landing pages, unfortunately, somebody could type in, my name is Mickey Mouse, and I'm at mickeymouse@gmail.com. Well, we know that's not a real person, so you throw that lead away. But the great thing about using this option here on Facebook is Facebook is going to give you their email address that they use to log in every day to Facebook. So we know it's real. Now, do they check that email every day? We don't know. But at least you know it's a bona fide email address. And as a bonus, obviously, you can still connect to their Facebook profile. So you still can reach them in multiple ways. So this has really been a game changer. I've just clicked on it, and I'm going to go ahead and continue so that I can show you how to target with this particular objective. So starting off here, notice on the right-hand side it has audience definition. This is going to change as I start to target. So it will tell us our potential reach based on the ad and then the estimated daily reach. So this number will fluctuate as you start to add new categories and different demographics. So watch it. I know a lot of people wonder, hey, what number should I be looking for? It really depends on what you're marketing. If you're marketing an open house, obviously You can't have 1,000 people show up. I mean, you might if it's a large home, but typically that's going to be too much. So it just depends on what you're marketing. You want to tailor this. I will say, though, your sweet spot is 3 to 5 different demographics, including like address. So putting in 3 to 5 different things, no more than 5, because normally that's going to be too narrow. And if you're less than 3, you'll have numbers like this where it can reach, more people than you could even be prepared for. So from here, notice that you can enter an address. That's nothing new. That's with all of the Facebook ads. So if I put in, I'm going to do an address right here in Atlanta. I just want you to notice, though, I can type in the address, and when I type in this address, I can do a radius. So with doing a radius, this is great if you wanted to focus on a particular school or school district, or maybe you want to prospect a neighborhood for sellers, which is the goal. You can do that just by simply typing in the main address and then doing a radius. The other great thing about this is you can do multiple addresses. So I'll make this radius smaller just so you can see it. And then I'll put in, this time I'll just put in a zip code. So notice now it's pulling up multiple areas. So this again becomes powerful because if you think about it, I love doing just sold ads and just listed ads on Facebook. So a lot of times the traditional way is to send out a postcard, hey, we just listed, we just sold, and to send it to 2 different areas or 5 different areas, that could be very expensive. But with Facebook ads, it's all one cost. You can target multiple areas as long as the graphic you're using relates to those different areas. But you can use multiple areas. As you saw, you can put in zip code, city. You could do voting districts. Again, you can focus on the school. There's so many things you can do. So keep that in mind. The next thing, age. Now, this age only focuses on what people have entered into their Facebook profile. So if it's somebody like me, I won't come up in this because I never entered my actual date of birth. So I will say there's another place where you can find generations, and I'll show you that in a moment. You can also select gender. Again, this is what people enter in their profile. But here's the moneymaker, detailed targeting. Now, this area is based off of what people type. And it's going to be scary as we look at this to know that everything we're writing is literally being tracked. Now, for us as marketers, it's great because, again, it can be as little as $1 to $5 a day. As a consumer, again, it's a little scary, and you all are welcome to friend me on Facebook, but you'll notice I don't put a lot of information out there, and it's partially because of this. I know that it's being sold very cheaply to marketers. But regardless, we can use it in our real estate businesses. Let me show you a couple of categories, again, that will make a big difference in you generating leads. So I clicked on Browse, and I want to encourage you to go through these sections. And if you've already identified who your target client is, this will be easier to do. I'm only going to highlight a few things because, again, as you know, people overshare on Facebook, so there's a ton of information out there available to us. But first and foremost, they have education. So, for example, it's football season, college football season. Here we have the Georgia Dogs. So if someone said, hey, I wanted to focus on professors that are working for the University of Georgia, or I'm from Michigan and I graduated from the University of Michigan. So you want to focus on Ann Arbor. Whatever it is, you could actually find it here. I want you to notice next, they do have ethnic affinity. So maybe you are a Spanish speaker yourself, or maybe you speak Japanese. You can actually focus on this demographic. Now, I will go back up just a little to languages, and I will say that if you put in a language other than English, make sure your ad copy is in that language, because you don't want to attract people and then they're looking for things in their language and you don't actually provide that, right? Here's the next one, which is kind of scary, financial. Facebook is tracking income and net worth. And, a lot of us use, if you are logging into different apps, they have the option to log in with Facebook. Well, There you go. I know we wonder, how do they track all this information? Well, if you're using or you're defaulting to, hey, log me in with Facebook, it's tracking the data. So, again, good for us as marketers, kind of scary as consumers, but you're able, as you're searching for homes and for sellers that you can market to, you can pinpoint them by their incomes. I love this. This is one of the favorite things to do, especially, if you want to work in the luxury market or you want to work in the move-up market, then you already know you can exclude certain income brackets. And actually, let me show you that. Notice here it says exclude people. So, again, it's the exact same categories under browse. So if I go back to demographics, financial, I can now exclude people that make $30,000 to $40,000 a year. So it's very simple and intuitive, and I do love this so much. Let me keep going and show you a few other things. So under demographics, they have home. That's a big one for us in our industry. So as you're looking for sale by owners, and really any listings, you can come here and go to home ownership. And again, you can exclude renters. This is much better than we could ever do with most postcard mailings. So you think about paying a few $100s, maybe even a few $1,000s to send out postcards. You can use that same graphic from your postcard, but now market it here online. So you can exclude renters, include homeowners. You can look at their home type. So maybe you are looking only for condo listings. Again, it can be for sale by owner or any other kind. This is available here. The other thing, your build square footage, again, this is Facebook. We know people overshare. So anything you can think of that they've probably entered, it's here. As we talked about, here's the generational thing. So this is not just based on the age that they enter in their profile. This might be maybe they clicked on an article from the AARP, so we know they're a baby boomer. That's how this is defined. So it's more about their clicks, which is more powerful. Like I said, though, I only want you selecting 3 to 5 of these. Also, I'm going to type in, notice, for sale by owner. If you guys are looking for sale by owners and you've never used this category, I want to encourage you to try it again. If not today, definitely by the weekend, but use this for sale by owner category because you can find homeowners that either have listed their home on their own or they're thinking about it. And now you can get in front of them first. So I just typed that in. I'm going to go back to browse just to show you a few more other categories. Notice they have interests. Now that's already a default in Facebook, but you can find some of the interests that you want to connect with someone on, such as maybe you love hiking and you want to work with some sellers and you feel like that's a great way to bond. You could actually pull that up here. Under behaviors, they have several different things, charitable donations. So if you want to connect with somebody because, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month and maybe they support pink. So you could connect with them here. You can find expatriates. There's so many options here. And again, it really can become overwhelming if you haven't answered those 3 questions I mentioned earlier. They have residential profiles. This is my favorite as well. So again, if you're searching for sale by owner homeowners or any sellers or buyers, you want to always also select likely to move. And you can type this in, but again, I'm just showing it to you in the list. Likely to move is critical, and I know you might be wondering, well, how does Facebook know it? But we overshare. If someone types in, hey, I'm thinking about moving, I'm thinking about buying, or I just had my triplets. I just had triplets and we need a bigger home. It's all being tracked. So again, as you start to layer some of these demographics, you can be very effective in your marketing. So those are the main categories I wanted to show you. Again, anything you can think of they have. They do have life stages like divorce, new baby, engagement, because again, if you're on Facebook just as a consumer, you see it. You see when people post about these things. So now as a marketer, you can use this to get in front of people first. And that's what's critical.
The next question.
Go for it, Monica. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We had a question, can you exclude real estate agents? So
Yes.
If you want your message to get out, you can exclude that industry, correct?
Very good question. Thank you, Monica. Yes, please exclude your peers. And to your point, I want to show you this because, a lot of us, as you create a business page, you'll notice it will be a lot of not only your friends and family that connect with you, but it will be other realtors, maybe even lenders and so forth who are not actually looking to buy from you, right?
Right.
So here, under connections, this is critical that you do this every time you run an ad. Go to Facebook pages, and I want you to exclude people who like your page. If you don't do this, then you are paying to get in front of people who you can market to for free. And I don't want you doing that. This is to reach new people. So exclude people. And by default, it's going to include them. And, I've had some people tell me, oh, I ran an ad and my husband saw it and my children saw it. It's because they didn't exclude the people who already like their page. Because, again, they already know to buy from you. So exclude them.
Right.
From there.
That's awesome.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, one other question, and that question, by the way, that was asked by Julie Clifford. That was a good question. And then Wayne wants to know, why should we not boost the posts?
Right.
And I don't think you were saying that. You were just saying do that on this page if you're going to do it, correct?
Exactly. I want you to always come to here, this ads manager, to do anything that you market. Now, I prefer this lead generation tool, and I'm going to show you on the next screen the fact that where it allows you to capture the leads. But, again, you may want to point people to a landing page or promote an open house. So you can use all of their objectives, but if you don't get the option to do this detailed targeting right here, that's the key. If you can't do this, then you're really throwing money away, and I don't want you to do that.
That makes sense. And another quick clarification, Justin, this is really important. Justin just said, why not posting to your page, because there are motivated people on your page. And I think you were saying you can put your ad on your page, but you can do that for free, but don't pay for those people. Just go back to your page and put your ad on your page for your folks to see, correct?
Exactly. Running a Facebook ad is exclusive to people who do not know you because you don't know them. You don't know how to reach them. So this gets you in front of them at a very economical cost. But those that are already connected to you, post for free. Even on your business page, you should be posting still so that if you have 100 followers or 1,000 followers, they're still keeping up with what you have. So maybe you've got a new listing or something, an open house is coming up. I just don't want you to pay to get in front of people you already know. Advertising is to reach people you don't know.
Right on. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so I'm going to jump over. I'm going to go down to the bottom and go to the next screen. I'm breezing past budget, but like I said, I will lower this number. You could make it $1. And I do want to encourage you, whenever you create a new ad, meaning it's a new graphic, always do a 3-day test. That's one of my biggest rules. And the reason why is because as much as we think something is great, when you put it out there for people, it may not click with them. It may not resonate with them. So and we know this from doing listings where you might think maybe the kitchen is the best feature of the home, but maybe they actually clicked more on the living room. So I want you to do the 3-day test so you know out of your graphics which ones resonate, and then you can run those more. So I'm clicking continue, and I'm going to the second page. I want to put, from this page, I want to bring your attention to just 2 things. I know we're coming to the end of our time, so I want to respect everyone's time. But one of the things I want to point out is notice here the single image option. Notice that it says create up to 6 ads. 6 ads, and I love this option. So with this option right here, it says add more images. You can either add them from your computer. So, for example, if you were doing a just listed or just sold ad, you could show different parts of the home and, again, see which one people click on the most, but it's all for one price. You're not paying for 6 ads, but you get the benefits of six ads. They also have free stock images. And interestingly enough, the images aren't that bad depending on what you're trying to market. So, for example, I can type in Atlanta, and they actually have some good pictures of Atlanta. So this is great. Again, even in trying to reach a for sale by owner, this may be something that will catch their eye as they're scrolling through their Facebook feed. So I'm going to click just a couple of these just so I can show you how it shows up as you're creating the ad. So here below, when I scroll down, it gives you the ad preview on the right side. When I click the arrow to the right, it allows you to see each different ad with each picture. So again, you now are getting 6 ads for the price of 1. You can't beat this right now. They're cost. It's just too cheap. So I really hope you'll take advantage of it. On the left side, depending on who you're marketing to, you can put your information. And again, with for sale by owners, the main thing they want to know is how much is my home worth is 1. But 2, how can you sell my home where I make the most money off of it? They need to see that us as realtors selling their home, they're actually going to net more than they would on their own. So keep that in mind as you develop your copy and the verbiage for this. Now, the last thing here where it says create lead form, it's at the very bottom, and I just clicked on that. This is the game changer with why I like people to select this objective. So when I click on next, it gives you the option to name your form. Name it something because you can keep reusing it over and over again. When I click on next, we could add a context card. You don't really need to do that. That would be if we were selling a product and we wanted to really list all of the different benefits of it. But here's the lead capture part that I love. Notice here on the left-hand side, by default, Facebook is going to ask for the email and full name. Why? Because Facebook has that. The next thing, when I ask for more options, we could, if you focus on military, you want to find military for sale by owners, or again, any type of buyer or seller, I could actually click military status. I could click relationship status because, again, maybe your market might be newlyweds or divorcees. You could focus on company names. You could do a lot of different things, but I want to encourage you, with this form, less is more. Why? Because if you think about it, most people on Facebook are using a mobile device, and mobile device screens are small. So if you've got an essay that they've got to fill out, they're not going to want to do it. Now, I will encourage you here where it says add a question. I do like to ask people, how soon are you looking to move? You can say it any way you want, but basically you want to know, is it somebody you need to call today and work with right now? Or do you have some time as far as, their shopping and so forth? Notice, again, like I said, less is more. So you don't want them to have to type in an answer because you might lose them. You can type in the answers and make it multiple choice. So when I type in 1 to 3 months and click enter, it just became, here on the right-hand side, a multiple choice answer. And I can do 4 to 6 months. I can do it 5 years. I can make it whatever I want that will fit the audience I'm trying to reach. So I do want to encourage you to at least put that question, but make it multiple choice. So for those that are on mobile, it's very easy to use. With that, on the next page, if your real estate firm has a privacy policy, you can add the link here. And then your form's created. So now every time you run an ad, if they say they're interested, you're going to get this contact information from them. And like I said, this has really become a game changer where it's not just, hey, I'm on Facebook wasting time, or I'm on Facebook and it's a popularity contest. It's I'm on Facebook and I'm actually walking away with leads. So that's it. Any more questions and thoughts?
That is awesome. Very good stuff. We had a question right at the end about the lead form, and then you went right into that, so that was good timing. If you guys have questions, go ahead and type in. Lee, I do have a question. Back on one of the first pages or one of the first slides, you said your second question, I think, was target your community what community or subdivision are you targeting? And I just want to make sure that you mean, I think a lot of people get confused when you say you want to target something, that means you're not going to sell anywhere else. And that's not really what you're saying, are you, through that? Or can you clarify that a little bit?
Thank you, Monica. That's a good point. No, you know, obviously, real estate now, I know in certain metro areas, boy, you might drive an hour, and that's okay. That's a part of the community you work with. Really, when I say target, our image, so the graphic that you use for your ad is really only going to connect with a certain type of person. So that's the person, when I say target, who are you trying to connect with through the image that you're using in your ad? Even if, again, you were doing maybe postcards, you were mailing out postcards. If we were sending postcards about a home we just sold, we would send it to that community. We would send it to that subdivision. It would be, if we send it across town, it wouldn't be as effective. So it's the same type of thing where you want to target the people who will care about the image and care about the verbiage.
Got it. And making sure that you're speaking the language of the person, I guess in quotes, speaking the language of the person you're trying to attract.
Exactly. Because if you think about on Facebook, you know, for those of you that are on it, it's not that we are looking for ads, no matter what the business is. We are on there because we're trying to find out who had a new baby or wanted to see the pictures, you know. So it has to be something that pulls people out of that mindset of, oh, I'm focused on looking at, you know, somebody's wedding photos to, oh, this picture was interesting. And it's talking about selling a home, and I actually am looking to sell. So it's got to be something that's relevant to them.
That makes sense. Okay, let's hit a couple of these questions if you don't mind, if you guys have a couple more minutes. Yeah, a lot of people are asking about, is this being recorded? Yes, it is. And then I can't remember exactly, but the Espresso agent folks, it's somewhere online that you can access it. And I believe you'll get an email regarding that, or it's somewhere that you can tap into it through your Espresso agent login, I believe. Okay, Gary asks, have you taken the expired list from Espresso since it gives you an address and target to just those specific addresses? So can you get in that closely?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So I'll actually, well, I won't pull up the screen because that might take too long, but you can actually just type in the address here in Facebook, and again, just do a radius around it. So it's great. And even with the map, you can even drop pin. So if you don't know the exact address, but you know maybe the cross streets, you can do a drop pin and then do a radius around it.
Oh, got it. And I think I saw something about include or exclude this exact address, and you'd want to make sure that was included, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, that's a great question. And guys, that's a great way to kind of combine your Espresso agent account with this strategy. That's great. Love that.
Yeah.
Can you go back to how to collect the correct contact info? Can you just show us where that lead form is again and how to set that up?
Yes, and I know this part we went a little faster. So this is the second page. And what I didn't mention earlier, but I do want to mention now, the two pages that we've worked on after the objective page, they all pretty much look the same for each objective. So even if you didn't pick the lead generation, maybe you picked the one for video views or boosting a post, the next two pages and the pages we've worked on will pretty much look the same. So I do want to mention that so it doesn't feel like, well, if I pick something else, I won't know how to use it, because it is pretty much the same, except for this lead form is only a part of this objective. So let me go ahead and click back on it. And, well, I guess you just wanted to know where it was. So it's at the actual bottom. Let me just close this off now.
Okay. Well, yeah, and then how to set it up. Just walk us back to that page where you can set up the questions again, too, I think.
Sure. So this is the second page. So after you've done your targeting, And when you're putting in your graphics at the very bottom, so right before you place the order, we have the lead form. And the good thing is they do save them if you select save. So you can have your old ones there, and makes it really easy so you don't have to recreate the wheel every time. But I'm going to click on create lead form. And from here, you can either duplicate an existing one. I'll do new form though, and I'm going to click on next. Again, name it something you can recall, so if you need to use it again, you can, but we're just going to do a test. Now, I will say here on the right-hand side, it just pulled over the graphic that's in your ad. So this was in my ad, but this, normally if you were, again, doing just sold or for sale by owner, it's going to pull over the same ad image, so it keeps that continuity. You don't have to do anything with that. It will do it automatically. So when I click on next, like I said, we will skip this context card because we don't need to really give different values and everything. We want to jump right into them giving us their information. So here on this screen, by default, we get email and full name. So that's what people have already pre-entered into Facebook. This will populate, so they don't have to do any typing, which is good. Because I don't know if you all have noticed, even for yourself, if you are on a website and if you've got to type too much, you might say, nah, forget it. Whatever I was trying to get, I don't really need it. So I love the fact that with Facebook versus some of the lead forms out there and the lead pages out there, they don't really have to type in anything unless you put something that is off of this list. And then if you scroll all the way to the bottom on this left-hand side, this is where I added a question. So you can click Add a Question and type in anything. I'll just leave it like that. But you can type in whatever you like and add multiple choice by simply hitting Enter. And then here in the preview on the right side, now they've got 1 to 3 months, 4 to 6 months.
That's perfect. Now, you had mentioned that level 1 is sort of boosting the post right on your Facebook page. Level 2 is kind of where we just spent. Is there a level 3?
Yes, there is. And I don't talk about that too much because it's very convoluted. But level 3, some of you all may have heard of the Power Editor. I like the Power Editor, but I think for just everyday ads, you will do just fine in the Ads Manager. And I can pull up Power Editor. It is, a lot of people, it's basically where Facebook does all of its beta testing. Oops, sorry. I'm not spelling correctly right now. I'm trying to type fast, and there we go. It's the beta tester for Facebook. So whenever Facebook is thinking about doing something new with its ads or something, it's here first in Power Editor. So that's good. That's fun. And that's where I first learned about the lead generation tool before it was available to really everyone in the Ads Manager. So you kind of get the up-and-coming things in Power Editor, but it's a little harder to use. So that's why for what we need to do as realtors, we really can do it all in Ads Manager. But this is the Power Editor.
Okay, for those of you that were asking a question about that, that's at least someplace that you can go and kind of explore that option. But, yeah, I can't imagine you need much more than what you just showed us on level 2. I mean, that's pretty thorough.
Yeah. I really do feel like for us in our industry, level 2 is fine.
Okay. And Wayne, great question. You said that the leads aren't sent to us, so where do we go to see the leads?
Yes, very good question. Thank you. So let me come back over here to the Ads Manager. As I mentioned before, and actually, let me just go, I'm going to go back to my Facebook page because I really want you to know how to get to it from there. Because after you run an ad, obviously you don't get instant results, but, within a day you probably do want to come back and check. So from your business page or your personal page, just come to this blue menu bar and come back to that downward arrow or the drop-down menu. And when you come here, after you've created your first ad, you will see Manage Ads. Now, if you don't see that yet, that means you have to create it first. But once you have created it, you simply click on Manage Ads. If you have multiple accounts, which some people do, to your point earlier, Monica, some people may say, hey, I want to target condos with one business page. I want to target single-family homes, or I want to target a city or a zip code. So people have multiple accounts for many reasons, but it will show here. And once you click on the account that you're trying to see what's happening in, then you can come here and take a look. And once you're in your Ads Manager, you can see the performance, and you can also see if you had any recent leads. So when you come here, the good thing is you can do breakdown. Some people like to be able to see the time of day. I think that's very effective. So if you're running an ad and you know, hey, for my audience, for the audience I'm targeting, they are on at 3 p.m. or at 1 a.m. or whatever, you can target them better. I know a lot of people try to say, well, everybody should do Facebook ads at a certain time every day, or there is no one-size-fits-all for that. It really does depend on who your ideal client is that you're trying to reach.
That's great. So your leads will show up in here.
Correct.
That's awesome. There's a lot of data there.
Yeah, it is. And we actually, so this is actually in my account. I probably should have gone in one of my agent's accounts, but they don't always like me doing that, so I try not to use their accounts. But I didn't run any ads for leads recently. I haven't run any ads recently, not because I'm not using them, because I do, but I just haven't done it recently, so I don't have any recent data to show you. But it's easy to find once you come in here, but that's the key, is just knowing that Facebook, as of yet, doesn't give you notifications. So you just have to remember to come in here. And like I said, I really want you to only do a 3-day test before you run it long-term anyway. So at the end of the 3 days, come check out how your ad performed and see, should it be at a certain time, certain day? Is it more effective with women than men? And now you can reach people and spend your dollars wisely.
And so give me just a quick look at these tabs, this results, reach, and cost. What are the benchmarks we're looking for? Obviously, If we get a lead, we're getting lots of leads, then that's pretty obvious that it's working. But what kind of numbers should we be looking for? What do you go to first on this?
Very good. So let's use this one because this was a post, and my rule of thumb is 10%. So I will have my assistant, she runs these for me, and I will have her turn them off. And I do just what I ask other people to do, and that is we only do a 3-day test. So if in 3 days we don't see 10% engagement or results, then we turn it off and we go back to the drawing board, because, again, that means our graphic did not connect with the people we're putting it in front of. We see that it got in front of the people. So it got in front of 320 people, but only 6 people did something with it, meaning they clicked on it, shared it, commented, or left their information. But only 16 out of 320. So this is a good sign that the graphic did not nail it. This was really far off.
Since that's only 5% of your reach, you're determining that's not good. Those are not good results.
No, I really like to see it at 10%, and that's what I recommend for agents as well. So, again, if you do that 3-day test, and at the end of the 3 days you haven't gotten at least 9%, but you should be pretty close to 10%, some of our ads will get 25, 50%. So it's possible. And it's hard to know, though. That's the funny thing, and that's why this is the science part, typing in the demographics, but the art form is your graphic, because we're all human and we're fickle. And, it's funny how I could post a picture about Halloween today and everybody clicks and loves it and shares it, and I post it tomorrow and they're like, oh, that's boring. Next. So it's so hard to tell with human beings what they're going to be into. So I want to encourage you all, do trials. And I've seen agents, some of my agents have success with their first ad, and they throw out doing the trial. I don't want you to do that. And they all throw it out, and then unfortunately they spend a lot of money. They let it run for a long time. Maybe the next one they let it run a long time, and it doesn't perform like the first one. Because, again, we as humans are fickle. We change our minds. So the picture that worked last week really might not work this week.
You got it. Well, this is a ton of info, Lee, and you've stayed with us a long time, and thank you for your time. And Espresso Agent Nation, thank you for your time. I did see that this will be posted on the Espresso Agent YouTube channel. So
awesome.
That's where you can go see this replay. And a couple people are asking just how to reach out to you. Obviously, if you have a referral to Atlanta for a client, please send it to your friend Lee Davenport. But also, if people want to somehow get involved with your training or coaching, how can they reach you?
Yeah, so I just pulled back up my business page. So and this is my handle. My favorite site is actually Instagram, believe it or not. But as far as generating leads, it's Facebook. And if those of you that don't know, if you have added your Instagram profile to Facebook, then the ads you run on Facebook can double on Instagram. Just throwing that out there in case you didn't know. But anywho, my handle on everything is at learnwithlee.realtor. So you can find me on Facebook at learnwithlee.realtor or Instagram at learnwithlee.realtor. And my website is learnwithlee.realtor. So feel free, reach out to me, and even, connect with me, friend me on Facebook. I'm happy to friend you back. Like I said, I don't post a lot, but if ever you message me, I'm happy to connect with you.
Perfect. All right, guys, have an awesome day. And Lee, thank you for your time. We appreciate all that great info.
Thank you for having me, and it was a great time today. So I look forward to connecting with everybody again.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.